Hi there. About 6 months ago, my wife and I started cooking our dog food for our dog Roxy. She's about a 70-pound Labrador Mastiff mix, and you hate feeding one of your one of your little loved household creatures. Um, you hate just feeding them nothing but processed kibble all the time. So we began cooking our food. Did some research. You can see all the ingredients there. Carrots and broccoli and kale and eggs and brown rice along with ground beef. Sometimes we'll add in cranberries, and those are good for the urinary tract. And as we're preparing the food, of course, we have to cook the meat and the eggs and the ground beef, but the carrots and the broccoli and the kale they don't really have to be terribly cooked, but you don't want them to be large and bulky. So we have found, rather than cutting which I used to do, cut the carrots up real fine, we buy shredded carrots and we buy a little chunk broccoli and we freeze it real hard in a freezer, and then we just whack it with a hammer, and that breaks it up into almost a powder that you can mix in with with the meat and the eggs and all that sort of stuff. So obviously you cook the meat down and you're going to end up draining off the fat. You get quite a bit of fat off of 5 pounds of meat. Now, we buy the meat in a 5-pound tube from Aldi's. It costs about $15.50, $16. So it's not too terribly much. Of course, a dozen eggs. Rice is cheap. The carrots and the broccoli are fairly inexpensive, and so we just cook everything up and mix it together. And in the process of mixing it together, you can see the tool right there. We use a little star cutting tool. It's a combination mixer, sort of pulverizer cutting tool, and it does a really good job of breaking up the ground beef and the mix. We'll put in a little olive oil to add moisture back, add some good oil back into the mix, because of course you're draining off the fat as you cook the meat down, as you brown the meat down. But you add everything in and stir it real good, and then you will cool off because the vegetables will be frozen. So even though the meat and eggs and rice mixture will be pretty hot, the vegetables will cool things down pretty significantly. So you want to keep adding heat. We use a really big wok cooking dish, wok pan. I don't know where we got it, but it's perfect size for this. You can actually cook up, for our dog, for our size, you can cook up about 10 to 12, maybe as many as 14 days worth of food, depending upon how much you bag up. When we finish the process, we'll bag up 2 cups of food mix in each bag. We use freezer bags, and we then put those into a larger half-gallon size, or I guess gallon size freezer bag, and we then freeze the bags inside of bags and save the mix. I feed our dog 1 bag in the morning and 1 bag in the evening. That's basically 2 cups morning and 2 cups evening. You can get more if your dog is smaller. Hope this helps, and I'd love to hear about your experience.